We're certainly expecting a high-quality game of football here, that is for certain. Palace have been churning out the victories, as have Manchester City, who is going to seize the initiative early on in this one. It's with Umar, but he loses out, and immediately Henderson Hall gets away for the hosts, and Louis Malden will be happy to get the gloves on the ball. There'll be some clean sheet if he can pull it off here. They've just only dropped points in 3 matches this season. Manchester City shows the size of the task. Their under-18s are absolutely flying as well, as you'd expect from a club of this pedigree. In fact, the youngsters have been doing much better than the senior side. But Palace have shown at this level, with silverware in the Premier League International Cup last season, and consistently got results in Premier League too. They're a match for anyone on the day. Hindley Mustafa getting it moving. They'll ping the ball around. Caden Rodney, who was involved in the training camp, great experience for him in that mid-season trip for Oliver Glasner's seniors. Zach Marsh was involved in that, and Hindley Mustafa, always good when you can get some youngsters involved on those trips. Nice and relaxed, and get some experienced training with the senior lads. Here now is Luke Brown wearing the armband, launching long. Cardines, always a threat on the right side. One of the players coming into the fold for this game. At the summit, Manchester City top already in the playoffs. Palace, well, a win here would maybe not mathematically put them in there, but there are so many teams congested that they're not all going to get past them. Might have enough points already, we'll have to see. There are 2 games left after this one. Would like to be in the top 8 if possible, to ensure a home tie in the last 16. Here's good work by George King for Umar. Umar's low ball in, could be an early goal this for Palace. It's over the bar. Hindley Mustafa meeting that low turf-trimming ball from Umar. Great opening from the visitors. You'd expect the number 7 to be a menace, and he got the ball in along the turf, and Mustafa just couldn't keep it down. They were claiming a corner there. He felt there might have been a touch from a City player, but that's a good opportunity for the away team in the early stages. This is the penultimate away match, with West Ham to come next, 4th of April, then Chelsea at home on the 14th, and then hopefully we'll be involved in the playoffs. Still a bit of work to do to secure that place in the top 16, but looking good at the moment, and City will definitely be there, and who knows, these 2 sides could still meet again in the playoffs. 4th minute then, at a stadium some call the Mini-Had. They stage academy games and women's games here. In fact, last Sunday had a Women's FA Cup quarter-final. Manchester City getting through, leading Aston Villa to the last 4. This is the men's under-21 Premier League 2, 0-0. Palace with the early chance for Mustafa, played in well by Franca Umar, who'll be with the Republic of Ireland under-21s. Great to see all those call-ups as well. Palace representing in every age group, right from under-16s to the seniors in the England setup. Just a mark of how well the academy are doing and how well the club are doing. Brilliant stuff. Back for Vitor Rice, £30 million signing in January, first team player. So what a great prospect that is for Ola Adebayomi, Mustafa and Marsh to pit their wits against a player of that pedigree. And they've got Oscar Bob in there as well, who's done really well, especially last season, got injured, and they've really missed him this year. He's playing as the number 10 in this game. But Palace fear absolutely no one, having drawn with Arsenal. They picked up some scalps. Of course, the 3-0 win in the corresponding fixture last season against City. Umar, Rushan Mathurin and Danny Imre the goals. Here now is Emilio Lawrence. Thought about the shot. Good work onto his left, and he fell over there. Well, he manoeuvred the ball into space, lost his footing, and it comes through for Louis Malden, coached by former Palace keeper Julian Speroni, of course, at this level. Good little layoff that for Marsh by Ola Adebayomi. And here's Franca Umar, always comfortable on the ball. Simple and short for Rodney. Rodney sprays it. Over to Cardines, who bends in a vicious cross, but Oliver Watmarth is out to gather. Low trajectory, caught that one impressively. This is sliced into touch. They've been scoring goals for fun, both of these sides. Manchester City in the FA Youth Cup at under-18 level, topping their league. They're in a real battle actually with Manchester United at the top of their league. Of course, Palace at the summit of under-18 League South. City playing the North, although narrowly beaten by Chelsea. Fortunately, that you live on Palace TV at the weekend. Ran the mighty close, but just got beaten. But the 18's still in the shake-up. Lots of teams are in contention. Palace have played more games than most of the other sides, but they've still got a chance going into the closing stages of the campaign. And they're in good position to get into the playoffs in Premier League 2 under-21s for the second season running since the change in format. That one's ushered nicely into touch, and it's been a bright and breezy start from both sides, who have had good situations in that final third already. Palace TV backing the women's team in a huge game against Aston Villa this afternoon as well, hoping to preserve that WSL status. Of course, the best coverage of the under-18s and the senior men's team. Got through some good work in Marbella on their training camp. International break coming up, and then the action coming thick and fast in League and FA Cup. So much to look forward to from the Eagles' point of view. 7 gone. 0-0. They hope to test Oliver Watmarth as soon as they can. Ben Wilkinson is the head coach of Manchester City's under-21s, assisted by Craig Mudd, goalkeeper coach Max Johnson. Palace, of course, Darren Powell, who's recently celebrated a birthday. I'll not mention what age, Darren, but he's right on the edge of the technical area, soaking it up. Assisted by Anthony Haynes, Julian Speroni, who we've mentioned, and the physio Luke Pickard, performance coach Miguel Silva, and had another really good season. It's all coming to a climax. Good to get to the business end of the campaign with something still to play for. Here now is Vitor Rice, gliding upfield with the ball, getting important match minutes. The recent acquisition, Watmarth for Samuel, the 18-year-old, and now skipper Simpson Pusi for Naylor. Just popped up on the left. Seb Naylor swings over the cross. Samuel takes up the play. Henderson Hall. Good passing football from the home team. Excellent playing surface, as you'd expect. Henderson Hall and Simpson Pusi. Vitor Rice getting a lot of touches, but hassling, harrying, pressing off the ball, trying to perhaps force an error. City do like to play it from the back. Here is Mbama, who's been prolific, the number 9. Premier League 2 Player of the Month for February. 5 goals and 1 assist. He's had first team experience, Mbama, but Ola Adebayomi of Palace was nominated for that award, by the way. Player of the Month for February with the 5 goals. Third top scorer this season, 6 in 8 and 1 assist since coming back from his loan spell in the EFL in January. He's been a good performer at this level. Is he going to get a chance or two this afternoon? Watmarth tries to get City moving. Dropping deep here is Oscar Bob. Well-known player. Frustrating period on the sidelines, but back to fitness. Max Alain. They've won it back well here. Ola Adebayomi for Rodney. And Hindalo Mustafa tries to get his foot on the ball. Commits the foul. And a free kick taken quickly by Jaden Heskey. Jaden Heskey's middle name's Emil Tyrone. Emil after his dad, who was a terrific player for many clubs, Leicester, Liverpool, Villa, and of course England. And actually, his other, Jaden's brother Regan is in the academy as well, 17. Here's the shot in, straight into the arms of Louis Molden. Routine save, good positioning, assessed the flight and gathered, then good distribution as well. But it's an effort on target that for Ben Wilkinson's table toppers. So it was Spurs who led the way last season and went on to win the playoffs. City will hope to do that, although Fulham are breathing down the necks, but you'd think they'll finish top. Here's Ola Adebayomi. Good work, Cardines galloping forward. Marsh felt he'd strayed into an offside position, that's why he didn't chase that ball. Cardines with a burst. Samuel for Mabama. Likes to drop deep to attempt to instigate. They've switched the play well here of Manchester City. Pushed by Rice. Emilio Lawrence tries to gather the pass with Oscar Bob hoping to sow the seeds of doubt and make a nuisance of himself. Jake Grant comes forward imperiously, and now it's with Cardines. Marsh in close attendance tried to pick out Ola Adebayomi. Remember, Palace TV, the place to be for Oliver Glasner's pre-match press conferences. The next one, Friday 28th of March, before the huge London derby in the FA Cup, a place at Wembley in the semi-finals up for grabs against Fulham. That press conference 1:30 p.m. Friday the 28th of November, then live audio commentary the next day, 12:15 kick-off, Fulham and Palace from Craven Cottage. Of course, they were re-energised after the international break in March last year and finished so strongly in the Premier League. And every chance they could get more points and finish higher than last season. That'll be the goal for certain. Molden's looked ashore between the posts so far. Dylan Reid forward. The fellow midfielder Rodney, who loses out, and now it's a good run this by Simpson Pusey. The captain tries to play in Lawrence. Lawrence just ran away from him, did well to prevent it from trickling over the byline. Good, tenacious, competitive stuff this. That's outstanding from Hindaloma Mustafa, teeing up Ola Adebayomi. Can he get the shot away here? The challenge comes in, might just break for Marsh, and he gets there in front of Seb Naylor. Really good play this by Palace. Dylan Reid looks to find the angle, try to thread it through the eye of the needle for Marsh. And George King, seen him do really well for the under-18s, now contributing for the 21s as he slides in. Just a little bit over-eager there. He'd lost control of the ball. He was trying to win it. No malice there. It was just a 100% committed challenge, showing that hunger and desire. But he took out Lykyle Samuel, who winces and gingerly gets back onto his feet. No goals so far, but certainly the promise of them. Two buoyant, vibrant teams, both in sparkling form. Palace, before the scoring draw against Arsenal, did beat Stoke, Villa and West Brom. Terrific trio of victories. Could go fifth with a win, depending on Southampton's result. A couple of cracking London derbies to come against West Ham and Chelsea. Jemima Molu's still the top scorer with 13 and 16. He's gone on loan to Port Vale, 8 appearances, all a sub with a Valiance, but that's a big feather in the cap, isn't it, when the players can go out on loan. I actually saw Joe Whitworth yesterday helping Exeter to a point against Rotherham in South Yorkshire. League One. Past the quarter hour, 0-0. Here come Manchester City. Palace are going to have to do some defending here with the mercurial Lawrence. Good balance. Naylor. Lawrence again. Shields it from his opposing number 11, Zach Marsh. Willingly grafting away for the team is Zach. Samuel edging forward. In a bit of spaces, Henderson Hall exchanging with Samuel again. And now Simpson Pusey gets involved, a driving force for them. Skippering the side. Naylor gets it back. Bob's in the middle. Naylor has nowhere to go. Palace, well drilled, well organised under Darren Powell. In comes the cross, good low header. Possible breakaway now. But it's won well. Samuel. Henderson Hall finds the angle. Oscar Bob, senior player, gets it back here from Samuel. And Bob hoped he'd won a corner, but actually it just flicked off him. Good defending, solid stuff. Powerful, decisive from Luke Brown. 0-0, 16 and a half on the clock. Full game available later on Palace TV and all the highlights. Jaden Heskey, famous family. I remember interviewing his dad in Hale Village once. Not sure whether he still lives in the area. You'd think so, with two lads in the academy, but he had a brilliant career. He was a player who everyone absolutely loved playing with. All of his teammates always sang his praises. Sometimes he had, I thought, very unfair criticism, but he's picked up a host of honours, and his lads are doing well. Here now is Simpson Pusey competing with Hindalo Mustafa. Mustafa, second top scorer. He's got 7 this season for Palace in 23 games in all comps, 4 assists as well. Always causes problems for the opposition. Here's the chip. And actually, we talk about the free scoring nature of the teams as that eludes the grasp of Mbama. But you've got to remember as well, they've got 2 very good defensive units, and that's why they are in the upper echelons of the division. Here's Reed for Rodney, and Reed again. The beating heart of the team. Ball play forward now for Ola Adebayomi. Tried to pick out Marsh in the middle. Strong on the ball, brilliant stuff from Palace's number 9. And now Umar takes up the play, looking to get the better of Max Aline, winning his team a corner. Good stuff that from Palace, pushing Manchester City onto the back foot, and they've got a corner kick, won well by Franco Umar. Could this be the moment for the visitors to strike? Rio Cardines, one of the changes to the lineup, has placed the ball. Corner kick Palace, 19th minute, played short by Cardines for Hindalo Mustafa. What can he do here? He can get into the penalty area, cuts it back, could have gone anywhere. Cardines keeps it alive now for Dylan Reed. Reed for well, ball played in there by King. Bit of head tennis. And back helping the defence here is Mbama, showing strength, shielding the ball and winning a free kick. And here they come on the break. This is where they can be devastating, this team, as knocking it infield was Matthew Henderson Hall, but good, alert, vigilant defending. Dylan Reed and Rodney, they enjoy playing with each other in the centre, spraying the passes, keeping the shape. King and Reed, Rodney and King, they look evenly matched, these teams. Who's going to provide the inspiration? Molden just chips that one towards Marsh. Vitor Rice. And Samuel assesses his options and picks out Henderson Hall. Sticking to him like glue there was King. Very good off the ball as well as on it. As we pass the 20-minute mark. Haven't been too many clear opportunities yet. A good cutback by Umar for Hindalo Mustafa to crash over the bar for Palace. Manchester City haven't really created much, and that's down to the way the travelling team have acquitted themselves. Still have to go to the Etihad, the seniors this season. Really good comeback draw last term. It was brilliant, those 2 late goals. And they've already shown, as we've mentioned, at this level, that they are capable of beating Manchester City. As we creep towards the midway point of the first half in this 2 o'clock kickoff in Manchester. Good work there by Rodney, with Mabama breathing down his neck. Cardines, nice chest control, hugging the right flank. Mustafa and Grant. Jake Grant again. Won't be hurried. Uses his defensive chum, Brown. Quarter of the way through the contest. A level scoreline is probably a fair one. Sort of cancel each other out a little bit. Umar. Lovely work by Franco Umar. Hindalo Mustafa dropping deep and threads the pass. It's a beauty of a ball that from Mustafa, but Cardines just pushed over Sab Naylor in an attempt to get to the ball, but that was the nearly story for Palace. Love it when Hindalo Mustafa just drops off and tries to knock the pass. He almost played a pinpoint one. That was very close to opening up the Manchester City defence. Palace look to be in the mood here. Grant for King. Dylan Reid. Rodney. Already had some really memorable away days. You look at the players who've come through as well from this team into the first team. Agbanoni, Kapora, Devaney, to name but 3, shows there is a pathway. And great to have that selection of youngsters over in the training camp as well. Here's Brown for Molden. Mabama and Henderson Hall. Manchester City's number 7. Both outfits were very good options on the bench. When you look at Jesse Derry, he was scoring consistently for the under-18s earlier in the season before making the step up. And Jesse has been named in the England under-18s. Brilliant effort from him. You've got Dean Benamar in the under-17s, Joel Drakes-Thomas in the under-16s, Kapora in the under-19s, Romain Essa under-20s, and Adam Wharton under-21s. Of course, the seniors, Mark Gahey, Abere Eza and Dean Henderson, all named in Thomas Tuchel's first England squad. We wish them all well, and to all the other players involved with the countries from Palace's perspective, both junior and senior. Oliver will be keeping his fingers crossed they stay fit and don't pick up any injuries. Here now is Ola Adabomi. He's made a good run here, just scuffs the shot. Good defending, and he wasn't able to hammer it as he would have liked there, but it's a purposeful, promising burst inside right channel from the striker to give Crystal Palace some encouragement. Marsh wins it back brilliantly, and now Hindalo Mustafa with Cardines available. Mustafa hangs on to it, does play the pass for the wing back. Mustafa and Cardines. Grant now for Dylan Reid, just makes things tick, pulls the strings, keeps things moving in the centre. Brown for Grant, and now Hindolo Mustafa. Adebomi trying to play it back towards him. Oh, what's the keeper doing here? It was a bit of a dodgy touch that by Watmuff. Just about knocked it away. Still waiting for the deadlock breaker. Palace still with 6 points to play for after this to secure their place in the playoffs. Here's the chip, it's a lovely ball. Ume controls superbly, gets in the logo. I think he intended that as a cross. Marsh was there and Cardines at the back post was galloping into the penalty area. He might have been trying to find the corner of the goal, but a really good run. Excellent ball towards him. He brought it down impeccably. That's immaculate control from Franco Ume, who just couldn't find the opening goal. But a very good run. He's looked Palace's brightest spark in an attacking sense so far, has the number 7. And it's been, you'd have to say, an impressive away display so far. Now here's Hindolo Mustafa looking to wriggle free. Simpson Pusi for Naylor. Back with Palace on halfway. Good to hear the instruction coming from the sidelines as well. And plenty of supporters watching the stars of the future from Manchester City and Crystal Palace here. Stadium close to the Etihad. Good ball now. Marsh picking it up. Ume for Marsh again into the penalty area. Attempted to play it back for Ume. They have won a corner kick. Good probing play down the left-hand side again by Crystal Palace, and they've got themselves a set-piece opportunity. Cardines goes over to take. Left wing corner, right boot of Rio Cardines, hits it towards the back stick, the header down, it's scrambled away by Heskey, but clear threat posed by George King and co, and King gets it back now from Reed, and then he steers in the cross, too much power on it, and no one was at the back post, and it just drifts to safety for Manchester City. Of course, it's a long break in terms of Premier League action for the seniors, with the FA Cup involvement and the international break, but they'll be ready and raring to go for the run-in, as will the 21s here and the under-18s with their remaining matches. Forward City come again with Bob. Plays the short pass, back to walking pace again for the home side. Arsenal 1-0 up on Chelsea, by the way, in the Premier League at half-time in the 1:30 kickoffs. Fulham 0, Spurs 0. Fulham Palace's next opponents. Oh, this is brought down well by the captain. That is brilliant play by Manchester City skipper Jamal Simpson-Pusi. The ball floated over the top. It was a speculative pass leading from the front as it came down. Louis Molden came off his goal line, tried to make himself large, but Simpson-Pusi for the leaders found a way past him. They've had a dominant season. Hasn't been much to choose between the teams. If anything, Palace have shaded it so far, but the number 6 for the home side comes up trumps. He finds a way past Louis Molden, and it's Manchester City who break the deadlock. They lead Crystal Palace by a goal to 0 just before the half-hour mark. It was a hopeful hoist, and Jamal Simpson-Pusi very much made the most of it. And Palace have got to roll the sleeves up now and see if they can find a way back into the contest. They had a couple of corners. They've been pushing Manchester City back. It was well taken, that, as it's played by Brown for Molden. Marsh loses out. Good tenacity from Jaden Heskey. Samuel. Of course, they've just got into that winning habit, haven't they? Manchester City this season. Here's Vitor Rai showing his class. Trott can't find the pass he wanted, though. Really good defending. And just a little bit sloppy there was Rice, who got too much on the chip for Emilio Lawrence, and no harm done there for Palace. A third of the way through the contest, they trail to Jamal Simpson-Pusi's goal for Wilkinson City. Back by Henderson Hall and Max Alain. Ball stationary, ponders his next move, plays it for Oscar Bob, who's flitted and floated and tried to contribute when he can. But there was little to choose between them. If anything, Palace had the more threatening moments, especially with Umet asking the questions, exploring every avenue. But it was just what seemed a fairly innocuous ball over the top that Simpson-Pusi capitalised on. Here come Palace looking to respond. Little angle ball by Rodney for Franco Ume. And now Rodney gets it back, turns over the cross, and the header wide from Ola Adebayomi. In fact, it was drifting wide, but Watmuff decided that it might have been creeping inside his post and made the save, but looked to be going adjacent to the target, that one, but he wasn't taking any chances, Oliver Watmuff. Good attack there, again. Ume was involved. Played in by Rodney, and Ola Adebayomi with the header. Just couldn't get the connection he wanted. And now Reed linking up with Ola Adebayomi. Nudged towards Marsh, but they've actually given a good account of themselves here, Palace's under-21s, but they find themselves on the wrong end of the scoreline, as most teams in the division have this season against Manchester City. Palace, by the way, would still be well placed to qualify for the playoffs, even if they lost today. Would like to pick up a result. This is almost a bonus. Anything against these players. Still got those matches with West Ham and Chelsea to come. Best coverage, of course, on Palace TV. 34th minute, Manchester City 1-0 up here. Running by Emilio Lawrence. Gets into the penalty area. And he wasn't able to gather that one, Molden, but crashed away by Grant. Marsh, that low centre of gravity, good work to hold it up. Booted away. Marsh falls to the turf and wins the decision from the referee. Good little period of play from Marsh. Here's George King to float it forward, and the flag had been raised. Wouldn't have counted if Ola Adebayomi had just skipped away from the on-rushing Watmuff there, but they look capable of getting level before the break for sure. Samuel and Alain. They've kept Mabama pretty quiet. He's had to drop very deep to try and get to the ball, because they would have been aware of his threat going into this one, given his scoring exploits this season. But it was Simpson-Pusi with the driving run from midfield who found the way through. Forward by Reed, but met on the half volley by Max Alain. Here's King. Heskey. Been impressed with him. He's a different type of player to his dad, isn't he? Playing in that midfield role. Henderson Hall. The two number 7s, Henderson Hall and Uma, who just ushered him away. That's good shepherding. Fine tracking back there by Uma, who is a flair player, but he doesn't mind rolling his sleeves up and getting his hands dirty and putting in a shift for the team. He's been good so far. Into the final 10 of the first 45 on Palace TV. 1-0 to Manchester City. Here comes Oscar Bob for Henderson Hall. Will he pull the trigger here, Henderson Hall? No, he's forced a bit wider than he would have liked. Jaden Heskey linking up with Bob. Heskey for Simpson Pusi. That's sloppy from the goal scorer though, giving it away. And here come Palace now with Marsh. He's got Ola Adebayomi in the middle. Marsh with Ume on the overlap. He plays it in now for Rodney. Really good move this for Palace. Is there something at the end of it? Reed finds the pass for Hindalo Mustafa. And now Jake Grant gets involved in this one. Keeps it alive for Reed. Good angle. Mustafa holding it up well. Gets the better of Simpson Pusi. Hits it in low towards Marsh and it's wide. It wouldn't have counted anyway. The flag was raised. But that was really good, slick interplay. A lot of the Palace players involved in that attack. As Hindalo Mustafa looked to seize the game by the scruff of the neck. Marsh had just strayed. The flag just fluttering in the afternoon breeze, displayed for all to see. Put it wide anyway, but that was good little passage of play. Palace with a mini purple patch. Can they keep the momentum going for the remainder of this half? Watmuff has done pretty well so far. He made a save for the cameras from a Ola Adebayomi header, which I think was going wide anyway. He was relieved to see Hindalo Mustafa hit one over from Ume's cross early on. Palace have had the better moments in this apart from the goal. Rice for Seb Naylor. Vitor Rice once again. High hopes for him from the City faithful at senior level, but putting in the graft for the under-21s this afternoon. Jaden Heskey with the peeling run. It's only a slender advantage. Palace have got to dig in, make sure they don't concede again. The City seek the comfort zone of a second. Of course, in the back of their mind, Umar especially, who scored, they'll be thinking, well, we got 3 and beat these opponents last term. Here's the ball floated intelligently for Emilio Lawrence. He's got Mabama in the middle. Lawrence, think he's going to go it alone, is he? No, as he tried to knock it through. George King crashes away. Possible counter-attack now for Palace with Hindalo Mustafa, tackled by Simpson Pusi. Good work by the headline maker Simpson Pusi. That's a very good floated ball for Oscar Bob. Bob has got support here, plays it into Emilio Lawrence. Lawrence now, and the shot's going to be blazed in, is it? No, it's played by Samuel for Henderson Hall. Samuel gets it back. Matthew Henderson Hall lifts it to the back post. Mabama's header, but commits the foul in attempting to win that one. Up against the Palace captain, Luke Brown. 39 gone, 1-0 Manchester City. Huge goal in the WSL for Palace. 1-0 up on Villa Women. Could close within a point of them with a victory there. That's a huge game live on Palace TV. Here now come Manchester City with Oscar Bob. They've restricted his threat well. Of course, he's a player who's sparkled, flourished for the first team under Pep Guardiola. And that's straight through for Watmuff. Rice. Happy to give it back to the keeper. As we enter the last 5 minutes of the first half that's had ebb and flow, hasn't been helter-skelter relentless attacking football, but there's been enough in it to suggest we've got plenty to look forward to. Here's Mbama, well, the striker coming into his own penalty area there for Watmuff, finds the angle for Elaine, and Henderson Hall pivots, Samuel, Henderson Hall just behind him, and Max Elaine ponders and then feeds fellow defender Vitor Rice, likes to carry the ball forward. Samuel for Henderson Hall, good angle, Jaden Heskey now into the penalty area, plays it in, and it's him again, Mbama, the player of the month for February in Premier League 2, gets his goal, and Manchester City have doubled their advantage. Really good play by Jaden Heskey, son of Emil, knocked it, and there he was, where it mattered, lurking with intent. And, well, 5 goals and an assist in February. He's been involved with the seniors. He's been a big reason that Manchester City lead the way in this division. Scores from close range. And Palace now have a mountain to climb in the remainder. They've given a good account of themselves, haven't been able to find the goal, and now they've conceded a second. Simpson Pusi, the skipper, with the first, and the chief goal-getter gets his name on the score sheet once again. Marvellous Mbama for Manchester City this season. Palace trail by 2 goals to 0. And they just got Heskey away there, and he claimed the assist, put it on a plate for Divine Mbama. Well, if you just joined this game and hadn't seen the action so far, you'd look at it and think, well, Manchester City, there they are again. They've been brushing aside everyone in front of them. They've been dominating matches, winning easily, but hasn't been like that, really. Palace have acquitted themselves. They've really put in some hard work. They've shown the desire and application, some good attacking movements. Ume down the left. We've had Ola Adebayomi with a header that was clawed away, and Hindlo Mustafa hitting one over a few corners. So they've but of course the hardest thing is to put the ball in the net, and Manchester City have done it twice, 2 different types of goal. The first with a long range ball over the top, which was latched onto by Simpson Pusi, and the second, good work by Heskey to cut back for goal scorer Mbama. Here now comes Cardines, what a run this is, gets the shot away. Brilliant stuff from the right wing back, gliding pacily infield. It opened up for him, got the shot away. It's a low effort, but the save is made by Watmuff, who's probably been the busier keeper overall. An effort on target, but Watmuff repels the danger, and now they turn defence into attack with Emilio Lawrence, checked by Jake Grant. Lawrence for Oscar Bob, Master of Ceremonies. And now Naylor with the chip, and claimed well by Louis Molden. Collects the ball like picking apples from the tree, and then hits one on the volley. Here come Palace, this is better. Ball played through the middle, and Marsh is offside. He just got into a couple of offside positions. It's been the nearly story, what might have been. He'll keep showing himself. He's an honest, hard-working player. He's got an eye for goal. He can get the assist. He's having a good season, but he just needed to delay his run there. Maybe the pass was played a bit too late. Final minute of the first 45 then. Palace started brightly. Manchester City have scored twice. They haven't created too many other chances, but the goals from Jamal Simpson, Pusi, ball launched over the top, ran forward, controlled it well, drew keeper Molden and knocked it into the net. And then moments ago, good ball, angled for Heskey to square for Mbama. Yet another goal for their main goal getter. Here's a good run by Lawrence, winning a corner. So they're going to have a set piece right at the end of this first half, but it is still possible that these two could meet again in the playoffs. Palace with a lot of teams behind them, in the standings, and although it is fairly congested, they're not all going to win the remaining games, so might not need any more points, might need a win and a draw, or maybe a couple of stalemates. We'll have to see, but still 2 matches to come after this to go and get in the players, when there's still the second half of this game as the ball is played in stoppage time at the end of this first half by Manchester City. Mabama puts it into the net, but the whistle had already been blown. Molden, beaten twice. Got the buffer and insurance of a second, but Palace know that won't be insurmountable, but they need to get the next goal in the game. Simpson Pusi set the ball rolling for his team. Puts in the work there. That's the half-time whistle then. It's 2-0 to Manchester City at the break. The goal scorers, Simpson Pusi, the captain, and the main goal scorer this season, Mabama, with the second. Palace have put in a good shift. They've got it all to do in the second half here. They trail by 2 goals to 0. Underway then for the second 45 in Manchester. Premier League 2 action for Crystal Palace this afternoon, trailing to Manchester City by 2 goals to 0. The scorers, captain Jamal Simpson Pusi and main striker Divine Mabama. Palace immediately onto the front foot. Uma, who's sparkled sporadically in this game. He's done well down the left. He moves infield with intent, gets the cross in. Great chance and it's in. What a start to the second half for Crystal Palace. Rio Cardin's first time blasts it into the net. It came off the underside of the bar. That was inspirational from Franco Uma, lighting the touch paper. He scored in the corresponding fixture last season in a 3-0 win. How they'd love 3 goals and to produce a comeback in this one. They've halved the deficit. Rio Cardins with a minimum of fuss and a maximum of ability. A wonderful assist from the magic boots of Franco Uma, and there was Rio to knock it in. They want a second now with Hindalo Mustafa. Oh, it's hit the stanchion. Almost 2 in 2 minutes at the start of the second half. The number 10 driving forward. Spectacular stuff from Darren Powell's youngsters. Whatever he said at half-time, it has had a massive effect. We saw the goal from Cardines from Ume's centre, and then Hindalo Mustafa grabbed the ball in the centre, set himself, pulled the trigger, and within a whisker of making it 2-2. And this is real character and resilience from the junior Eagles. They're showing an appetite, a bounce-back ability, and Manchester City know they're in a game here. They've galvanised, they've absorbed the information, soaked it up like sponges, and now they're executing the game plan. Cardines with the goal, and Hindalo Mustafa. I think when he hit that, we all thought it was going into the top corner. Oliver Watmuff wasn't getting there. Hindalo Mustafa again, he's just come close to scoring. Now he knocks the pass towards Marsh. It's all Palace at the moment. Manchester City are rattled here. And they've hit them with a goal, and it might have been a second. And I was just about to mention, actually, last season, the seniors just down the road, City seemed to be in control, didn't they? 2-0 up, and they roared back and got a point. I covered that game for Palace TV, and maybe the youngsters can do something similar, but they've got a long time now to go on. They've changed the balance of power in the game. They really have. No cushion anymore for Manchester City, and they'll be very relieved they didn't concede the double whammy. Phenomenal, compelling, astonishing opening. They were hurting going into the away changing room with the 2 goals. It really was a harsh reflection of the first half. So Palace had played well without having that cutting edge in the last third. Well, they found it with Uma lighting the touch paper as he so often does. Of course, he etched his name into academy folklore, didn't he, with the only goal in the Premier League International Cup win, lifting silverware European trophy for Palace's under-21s last season. Domestically there, he was brilliant, and he's going to go away with his country, and he really has made his impact here. And Hindalo Mustafa was so disappointed he didn't get his 8th of the season with the long-range drive, where he got the boot through the ball. Pleased for Rio Cardines to get a goal as well, because he's got well, actually. He sparked a few attacks, and there he was at the end of that one. The two wide players who, you look at it, and the way they're set up, they often provide the outlet. They provide often the main attacking threat. Uma down the one flank and Cardines down the other. It is his first goal of the season, I'm told by Toby as well. So great stuff. Hopefully he's got a couple more up his sleeve. During the half-time interval, I was actually looking at the table as it stands, and I'm going to stick my neck out here. I think Palace are going to make those playoffs, because there's so many teams behind. They're in 8th at the moment. The top 16 get in the playoffs, and they're 7 points above Forest in 17th. So there are a lot of teams who would have to win 2 or more games to get ahead of them. So it's looking good, and they have got the insurance policy of the 2 games against West Ham and Chelsea, which we'll cover for you on Palace TV, of course, to get the points. So it is still in their hands, but it would take a crazy set of results to deny them, I think. Want to finish as high as possible, currently in 8th. Southampton have lost, actually, to lowly Middlesbrough in their game, so they're a point above Palace in 7th. So you've got to look upwards. This was going to be hard today. Manchester City 1-14, drawn 1, lost 2 so far. Riding high. 2-1 up now, though. Cardines halving the arrears, but it really did stay. I mean, he still had to put it away, but it all came from Ume's sorcery, wreaking havoc down the left. Here now come Manchester City, want their 3rd goal. They want that 2-goal advantage back. It's Lawrence who hits it in. Neither boss made a change at half-time, by the way, with both teams, good to see, wearing their traditional colours. 6 minutes gone, straight from the whistle. They pushed them back, though. Palace got one back and nearly scored again through Mustafa. Here's the shot from one of the Manchester City goal scorers, Mbama. Minimal backlift, generated good power, good positioning by Louis Molden, though. Made the save, and it remains 2-1. So Palace with Molden in goal, as Ola Adebayomi is the judge to have committed the foul. Not happy with the official patrolling that touchline. Free kick given to Manchester City, who their fans are pleased to see Oscar Bob back, and Vitor Rice getting some game time. But Palace with Louis Molden in goal. The defenders George King, Jake Grant and Luke Brown, the skipper. Rio Cardines, goal scorer on the right. Franco Ume, assist for Cardines on the left. Central midfield, Dylan Reid and Caden Rodney have competed well. Hindalo Mustafa, Zach Marsh and Ola Adebayomi up top. The bench, Cormac Austin, William Eastwood, Joe Gibbard, Karai Masani and Jesse Derry. I just wonder whether, if it stays 2-1, latter stages, Jesse Derry might be able to do some damage for certain. Manchester City have Oliver Watmuff in goal. Couldn't stop Cardines from scoring. He wouldn't have got to Hindalo Mustafa's shot either. Rest of their lineup: Mikhail Samuel, Max Elaine, Vitor Rice, big money signing, Seb Naylor, Jamal Simpson, Pusey, the captain who got the first goal, Jaden Heskey, Oscar Bob, Matthew Henderson Hall, Divine Mbama, who got their second, and Emilio Lawrence. Their bench: Christian McFarlane, Spike Britz, Michael Akeke, Charlie Gray and Ashton Muir. Here come Manchester City again. He tries to get in there. It's good defending initially by Luke Brown, the captain, and then Louis Molden came out just to deny Mbama end-to-end action. I think it's going to be a different type of half. It was quite sedate and cagey at times, the opening 45, but Palace chasing the game and chasing it well. They've shown really good focus, energy, the effervescence of youth, but you've got to do it in a planned way. They never throw in the towel, they never give up hope, they always believe in themselves. And at 2-0, they knew they had to get the next one, they did. And have they set the tone for what would be a spectacular result if they can get a draw or a win here? There'll be some way to confirm a place in the end of season playoffs. I think it's a good system actually. You get to play all different teams home and away in Premier League 2 nowadays, and the top 16, so it keeps your season going, doesn't it? Do get into the playoffs. Of course, the advantage for the top 8 of a home tie in the last 16, and then it's just knockout football. Here's Mabama. Gets it back, Oscar Bob wants it, bypasses him and Naylor though to find Lawrence. Naylor for Emilio Lawrence, the Manchester City number 11. Naylor, first time ball. Will it break for Henderson Hall? It will. Opposed by Umar. Well, it's raced by, hasn't it, the first 10 minutes of the second half on Palace TV. Jack Woodward talking you through the action. I thought we'd get an entertaining game. And a bit of a slow burner. Took a while to get going from Palace's point of view. 2-0 down at the break, but they really exploded out of the blocks in the second half. Immediately scoring through Cardines and then almost making it 2. Good interception by Bob, but it breaks for Brown. And now Rodney eating up the turf, striding with purpose. Caden Rodney. And Jake Grant for Dylan Reid. Starting to enjoy their football this afternoon. Effectively, they are the 2 form teams of this division. Well, although in fairness, Manchester City have been in form all season. Here's Indolo Mustafa and Rodney, and now Dylan Reid driving forward, almost finds the pass for Umar, who was lurking on the left. Mabama. You can see why he was named Player of the Month. He's not only a goal scorer, he drops deep and tries to instigate as well. That's an ambitious ball, it's a brilliant ball, cross-field and upfield for Manchester City. Bob receiving the pass from Henderson Hall, tries to give it back to him, but good work here. Oh, that's absolutely fantastic stuff from Franco Umar in the middle this time, and then he wins it back, and here goes Ola Adebayomi. Franco Umar has got through some wonderful work in this game, he really has. He's inspired his team, and they're on course for a comeback. Max Lane for Henderson Hall. Good pass this for Heskey. Heskey with the cutback, and then stretching and straining for the ball is Emilio Lawrence, and he can't guide it inside the post. Heskey again, he makes some really good runs, doesn't he? And he squared it, unselfish, tried to find Emilio Lawrence, who just couldn't get the connection he wanted, and he wasn't able to make it 3-1. Louis Molden's got a problem here as he tried to repel that attack. So physio Luke Pickard is out to treat him, and everything crossed for Louis. That is nothing serious. But that was City's best moment of the second half. They've worked so hard to get back into this Palace. Absolutely vital not to concede the third, and they did just about enough. I wouldn't like to call this one from here. We've got a bit of a stoppage, chance to catch our breath after a frenetic opening to the half. Down the left, Umar. Buzzing around, always looking to make something happen. Dipped into his box of tricks with a low cross for Cardines to rattle it in. Always good, aren't they, when they go in off the underside of the bar? And he enjoyed that. And straight after that, they say you're at your most vulnerable when you've scored. Actually, you can be vulnerable when you've conceded, and City were shell-shocked. Like rabbits in the headlights, they couldn't get to the ball, and immediately after getting the goal through Cardines, Hinderlow Mustafa gathered it in the centre, lashed the shot towards the top corner. It just went wide, it hit the stanchion behind the goal. Otherwise, would be in a 2-2. Louis Molden's had the medical assistance, and very good to see him on his feet. A couple of late goals for Fulham, by the way. Well, Palace's next opponents at senior levels in what's a mouth-watering prospect, the FA Cup quarter-final. Of course, we'll show you Oliver Glasner's pre-match press conference the day before and have live audio commentary of the game. Lunchtime kick-off at Craven Cottage. But they have scored 2 late goals in their London derby today in the Premier League. 2-0 up on Spurs, and Arsenal 1-0 up on Chelsea still in the latter stages there. And the women are flourishing. It's a huge scoreline there, coming in from the VBS Community Stadium where the men's under-21s play their home games. They're 2-0 up now on Villa in the WSL, and Wood Close are within a point of the Villains, and every chance of preserving their status coming into the latter stages of the campaign. Premier League 2. Darren Powell's under-21s still want to prolong their season. They're definitely interested in this one, having been 2-0 down at the break. Lawrence for Naylor. And again. Rice. And a lane. Samuel. Henderson Hall. Past the hour mark on Palace TV. Here's Zach Marsh being told to keep it. Well, gliding down the left is George King, like a winger, winning his team a set-piece free kick, and we are going to have a first sub, I think, of the game, and Oscar Bob is going off. Probably the plan just to give him an hour in this one. It often is with players coming back from injury. He's been out for a long time. City fans will be absolutely thrilled that he's back playing again. He's got through a good 60 minutes to be replaced by the number 14, Michael Akeke. So the Palace defenders have got something else to think about now as they plot a route back to this equaliser. It's with Grant for Rodney along the grass. Good hold-up play by Ola Adebayomi. Cardines, the Palace goal scorer, plays the pass. Oh, he just didn't quite get it right. Marsh got in between the defenders. The weight wasn't quite correct. Cardines has got a goal. He wanted an assist there for Marsh. But they have opened up this City defence in the second half. Here they come, though, the home side with Mbama having collected that pass from Elaine, who's continued the run. And Henderson Hall now for Mbama again. And now Heskey. Mbama. He's going to get the shot away. Always going too high. Shouts in anger into the afternoon air there does Mbama, who, as he's done several times, came very deep to start the move. Wanted to complete it, but he crashes it high and wide. So nothing to concern the Palace rearguard there. So much to look forward to from CPFC's perspective. Seniors FA Cup quarter-finals. One game from Wembley, also doing well in the Premier League, surging up the standings. Women's team trying to preserve their status, going well today. And the men's under-21 set for the playoffs, under-18s competing for the title as well. Here now is Ume. Can he pick out the cross again? He's won his team a corner. They've really looked to him to create that something special. He's already done it once, and now he's going to leave it for the man he picked out for the goal. Cardines takes it quickly for Hinderlow Mustafa. Gets into the penalty area, great work by Mustafa, cuts it back towards Umar, but they just about got onto that one, Manchester City. Now they're on the charge with good challenge that by Grant, and it had to be immaculately timed to get the better of Emilio Lawrence, who would have been away down the right. It's pulsating, enthralling fare. It's got better and better as a viewing feast in this game as it's gone on. Reed for Cardines. Marsh has made the run. Great reverse ball for Cardines, who plays it first time. Ola Adebayomi, so disappointed it didn't make its way towards him. It was brilliant that from Cardines, and Marsh cutting through the Manchester City rearguard. Ola Adebayomi was waiting in the middle. It didn't find its way towards him. It's all Palace at the moment. They bossed this second half. Cardines the goal scorer. Right boot, right wing, outswinger. Punched away by Watmuff for Dylan Reed. Helped on by Rodney. And now George King is crowded out. And Manchester City on the counter with Heskey. It's been very different, hasn't it, to what we saw before the break. That was a more thoughtful approach from both sides. Because it's just really come to life now, this game. And mainly down to the intensity provided by Palace going forward. Here's Hindalo Mustafa getting the better of Heskey. Can he get the shot away here? Slides a pass now for Cardines, who wants another one. He's gone down, but they won the ball, says the referee. Cardines not complaining necessarily. He was clattered. It was actually a really good, firm, robust, no-nonsense tackle on him. But Cardines has been causing all sorts of problems with his direct running down the right in this second half. He's got a goal and he's nearly been involved in more golden moments. Excellent quality game this, that I wouldn't be surprised if both sides go deep in those playoffs, you know. Of course, City already in them. Palace have still got work to do to make sure they are in those playoffs. Now here comes Grant. Good block by Max Elaine, who's been busy of late at the back. Throw in from Cardines for Grant, and now Luke Brown, Palace's captain. Excellent again from Hindalo Mustafa. Cardines, certainly contender for player of the match so far. Fulham have beaten Spurs 2-0 in the Premier League. In Premier League 2, it's 2-1 to Manchester City here. Good work again by Hindalo Mustafa. Rodney for Marsh. With Umar on the overlap, that could spell danger for Manchester City, the mood he's been in. Hindalo Mustafa sliding the pass now for Marsh, just behind him. Couldn't take it in his stride. If he could, there would have been in. I'm not sure Manchester City could have been made to look this ordinary in a period of football than this second half. It's probably the best any team have played against them, isn't it? This season, the last 22 minutes since they came back out. Palace have got one. They could easily have had 2 or 3 more. It's going to be hard to keep up this attacking tempo in the remainder as Arsenal clinch a win over Chelsea in the Premier League. Midway through the second half, a little turn by Hindalo Mustafa. Shows strength. Can he get the shot away here? He can! Yes, it's there! 2-2. What a comeback here from Crystal Palace against Manchester City. Hindalo Mustafa has been inspired in this second half. He nearly scored after Cardines' opener. This time he makes no mistake. Off the inside of the post. Bounce back ability from the junior Eagles. Hindalo Mustafa fired it unerringly, powerfully, decisively. No way Oliver Watmuff was going to keep that one out, and they fully deserve this scoreline, because whatever was said at half-time by Darren Powell, it has worked a treat. Cardines with the first. They played some sparkling attacking football, and now Hindalo Mustafa has his 8th goal of the season for the Palace under-21s, who are flying here against the league leaders. It's 2 apiece, and now they'll probably go and push on for the winner. Wonderful goal. Just steered it, didn't he? It was... he tried to find the top corner with his earlier effort. This time he went low and needed to be very precise, and it was. Brilliant stuff, this. The future's bright. Magical Mustafa, clinical Cardines for Crystal Palace. Here's Jaden Heskey. Not sure the scoring's over here. Samuel for Henderson Hall. Hindalo Mustafa for Ola Adebayomi, who's wrestled to the ground by Vitor Rice. He's relishing that, isn't he? It's great to see from Ademola up against a top-class senior defender, and he's loving every minute. And that's what you want to see from a young player. Well, it's been, I mean, it wasn't a poor first half, really. Yes, disappointing scoreline, and didn't have too many chances, but they were in the game. But second half has been dazzling stuff, and you know, absolutely merited. And obviously we watch these games on Palace TV through Palace tinted spectacles, but you've got to call a spade a spade. You've got to say it as it is, and the reality is they've been superb since they came back out for the second half. Yeah, you give credit to the coaches, but it's the players who've got to go out there over the white line and do the business, and that's what they've done. The goals from Cardines and from Hindalo Mustafa. Hindalo the hero. Be aware, Jake, is the cry from the sidelines. Jake Grant. 71 gone. Here's Seb Naylor for Manchester City. And it's the sub, Akeke, trying to make his mark. Will he make an impact off the bench? Fresh legs, fresh ideas. Different focus. Throws it short, Akeke for Naylor. He just had no response to Palace's free-flowing, cohesive, vibrant attacking play in the second half. Are they going to have a spell of their own here? Both teams will go for the winner, that's for certain. That's the way they're set up. It's a yellow card, this, for... He's just checking that the defender's okay, but Ola Adebayomi is going into the book. So he's on a bit of a tightrope, accepts his fate, doesn't necessarily agree with it, but he's led the line really well, hasn't he? And Vitor Rice has had a less than comfortable afternoon. Simpson Pusi's been quiet in the second half. Here's Ume. He was the player who took the ball by the horns, really grabbed it with that early chance created for Cardines to put in. There he was defending. He's got through some good defensive work in the game. All working for each other, showing that camaraderie and showing plenty of quality. Very few teams would have come back like this against City with the aura they've got. Of course, the seniors have struggled more this season, but at junior levels, under 18s and under 21s, they've been utterly dominant. Haven't been here though. Well, not in the second half, anyway. It's Rice. Gets past Olaradobomi for Samuel. Henderson Hall moving in from the right. Good ball carrying. Breaks for Jaden Heskey and a Kake. Naylor closed down by Cardines. Emilio Lawrence gives it back to Naylor into the penalty area. Naylor with the chip towards the back post. Up they go. And the shot from a tight angle there. Tub back for Heskey. And it's wide. Good defending. It was Samuel with the initial effort. Heskey on the follow-up. But they worked hard for each other there, did the Palace rearguard, to keep Manchester City at bay. In comes a cross from Naylor. And now Hindalo Mustafa, he's the player you want on the ball, eating up the turf. He's so quick, he's so sharp. He's got Olaradobomi to his right. Olaradobomi now, the Palace number 9, gets into the penalty area, tries to play it back for Hindalo Mustafa. I mean, having said Cardines is a contender for player of the match, I mean, Hindalo Mustafa, Uma have got to be up there. Then again, hard to pick out an individual. They really have shown that all for one, one for all mentality here. Grit, determination and inspiration from this team. With a lane for Samuel. Help forward first time by Simpson Pusi. And the flag was raised. Into the final quarter of an hour on Palace TV. Manchester City, top of the table. They've only dropped points in 3 games, remember. They're on course to drop them here. And well played, Zach Marsh. Really good performer. Had a fine campaign. Marsh withdrawn, he's played his part, and I think this is a really good move. Jesse Derry, who's produced some brilliance for the under-18s particularly, and the under-21s. He's stepped up, he's making progress. He's in the England under-18 squad, which is wonderful to see. Shows he's been appreciated. His development, his education, his learning curve, not gone unnoticed on a national level. At an international level, and here he is, immediately wants to be involved. That's so good to see. He's come on, he's impacted the game straight away. Jesse Derrick. You'd have to say, if you were predicting a winner, you go for Palace at the moment. I mean, I've given up crystal ball gazing. It's such an unpredictable league, this, and you want it that way in a sense, but Palace have had all the momentum in this second half. Jesse Derrick onto the pitch and winning his team a free kick. Cardines, who got Palace back into the game with his goal early in the second half. Played short for Uma with the cutback. Jesse Derry's there first time. Will it come back to him? Didn't get fortune with the ricochet. Header by Dylan Reid. And Reid again, deliberately. And Manchester City should clear their lines. They're never hurried though, trying to build from the back. Brown for Reid. George King. A game of 2 very different halves. Palace were probably cursing their luck a little bit to go into the break 2-0 down, but they've been magnificent in the second half. Lovely ball there by Olaradobomi for Uma. Derry's behind him. In comes the cross, no one at the back post, and harmlessly behind. Simpson, Pusi and Mabama for Manchester City in the first half. In the second for Palace, Cardines and Mustafa. Played by Watmuth. Thinking positively, both teams, even though Manchester City have been rocked back. Certainly no question of them cruising towards a result here. I think they've perhaps been surprised by the quality and ferocity of Palace's comeback. Here's Mabama gathering from Heskey. Naylor for Mabama again, and Simpson Pusi finding a lane. 79th minute. Rice and a lane. Palace have it back. Ume linking up with substitute Jesse Derry, who's looked good since coming on. Ume now is going to take on Heskey here. Ume gets the cross in. Heskey sticks out a boot. And it is a corner kick. We might need some treatment for Jaden Heskey.
Substitution for City,
Seb Naylor coming on for Manchester City. Christian McFarlane on for him. And they'll hope that Jaden Heskey can continue. The City physio's out to provide the treatment. Perhaps we all need just a little hiatus to have a breather. It's been a roller coaster of emotion, really. The lows of conceding the 2 goals in the first half, but the highs of the 2 scored in the second by Palace, approaching the last 10 minutes of another really good advert for academy football. It was the Despair Stadium in the first half, but the Joy Stadium in the second for the visitors. Well, they might be. They've just brought on McFarlane for Naylor. Keke came on as well for Bob, and now they might be forced into a third change here, Manchester City. Palace have introduced Jesse Derry for Zach Marsh. Other good options on the bench. Austin Eastwood, Gibbard and Masani. Well, they've helped him onto his feet, but you wouldn't say the body language is great. And I'm not sure Heskey's going to be able to carry on here, but he has played his part. Got a good assist for the second goal. And indeed, Charlie Gray is coming on for Jaden Heskey. They're queuing up in the penalty area here. '82nd minute, left wing corner, right boot of Jesse Derry. He put both his arms up, in it goes to the near post, away by the City captain Simpson Pusi. Now it falls for Hindalo Mustafa, good control. Will it break now? Little layoff, and the shot is played through a ruck of bodies there by Jake Grant and just pops up for Watmuff. Almost for Palace. That's one of the subs, McFarlane. Vitor Rice. From that rim of the centre circle, finds Samuel. And now Henderson Hall bends it in. Good work there by Luke Brown in front of Mabama, who was lurking, loitering, ready to pounce, but Brown didn't allow him to. 8 to go. Henderson Hall. Gray. And Henderson Hall again. Are there twists and turns to come in this particular Premier League 2 story? Pendulum went firmly the way of the home side with goals from Simpson, Pusi and Mabama in the first half, but then back for the visitors with Cardines and Mustafa. 2 apiece. Henderson Hall. Simpson Pusi. His goal seems a long time ago now. Akake for Lawrence. It's a good looking ball. Oh, and he actually headed it away from the surging Henderson Hall there, did Mabama, and here come Palace on the break. Umeh driving forward, but good tracking back by Elaine. Umeh has been terrific down that left side, and no wonder he's lying on his back there, because he's put in so much hard graft for his team. Great fitness, energy levels, and quality as well from Franco Umeh. Sure, there's juice left in the tank. King with the throw for Jesse Derry. Henderson Hall runs into trouble, so they've got it deep inside Manchester City territory as they push for a winner. I think at half-time, if you'd offered them a draw, you would have taken it, but they'll be thinking maximum points. Here's Jake Graham, right of centre, switches the play intelligently, just got a head onto it, did Matthew Henderson Hall, and now he's on the turf. And well, almost running out of steam here. Fast-paced action. And now Henderson Hall's got a problem. Of course, you've got to remember with these youngsters, welfare of the players is paramount. You can't really see it like a senior game, even though a lot of them make that move up to the seniors. You've got to be absolutely 100%. They're okay at moments like this. Into the final 5 minutes. But we are going to get plenty of stoppage time. We've had a few pauses in play of late. All the substitutions and the goals as well to factor in. It's probably a good day this for Crystal Palace, coming back from 2 down here, and the women 2-0 up on Aston Villa in the WSL. Set to close to within a point of the Villains in the quest to stay in the top flight. Throw in Palace. Got to get the job done here. They've worked like Trojans to haul themselves back into this one. It's been absorbing, at times pulsating fair. They've dug deep, they've clawed their way back, and it's really finely paused going into the dying embers of a gripping yarn of youth football. McFarlane. Will it be one of the subs who grabs the glory? Rice for Watmuff. Hammers over halfway. Little flick there by Reed towards Mustafa. They look shaky at the back at times, but that's down to the way they've been dominated by Palace. Akeke. You get a lot of late goals in this division. You'd have to think there'll be at least one chance for one of the teams. Maybe it's for Palace with Reed. For Derry, tries the flick, doesn't quite come off. And here's Max Elaine now on the charge, tries to release Henderson Hall, but over goes George King. He felt it might have come off the Manchester City player, but it is a throw-in to the home side with 2.5 to go of normal time. I don't think either team would be too upset with a point. City would like to finish top, but you don't get any prizes for finishing top. It's all about going into those playoffs. Palace still, we talk about top 16 looking very likely, not confirmed mathematically yet, but top 8 is definitely looking on the cards. If they play like they have in the second half, particularly here in the last 2 games against West Ham and Chelsea, they'll definitely do it. And if you finish in the top 8, you have got the advantage of being at home in the last 16. But having said that, they're one-off ties, the knockouts, but the way Palace have played at times away from home, they wouldn't mind being away, so they'll be absolutely fine. Here's the cross in towards the penalty area by Henderson Hall. I wonder how much stoppage time. Could well be 4 or 5 minutes. And Palace get the decision there. With Villa getting a goal back. But Palace in the WSL, it's 2-1, but still on course. The points there. Elsewhere on Palace TV. Best coverage of the club at all levels on this service. So much excitement amongst the fans of the club going into the latter stage of the season. Now here's Hindalo Mustafa. Cardines, you can't overstate his importance to this revival. Took his chance really well. Yes, it was all about Umeh, but he still had to keep his head down. He got the perfect connection with the goal right at the start of the half, and that did really set the agenda for what was to come. Now it's with Mbama. Oh, and it's a rugby tackle. Well, that was worthy of the Six Nations from Luke Brown. Took one for the team there, the captain. Mbama not happy, but he might have done the same in that situation. Mbama well, he literally got his, with the oval ball, that would have been a great piece of play from Luke Brown, but yeah, it's one of those. He knows the importance of this point and going on and getting a result here. Proud captain. I think he's led the team really well, and let's hope there's a bit of a handshake. I think, is that a yellow card for the reaction of Mbama as well? I think it is, yeah. So a booking for the foul, which is fair enough, because he knew what he was doing. Mbama was getting away from him. He wasn't in on goal or anything like that, but we see that happen at senior level all the time towards the end of a game when you're protecting a situation. So it's a fair yellow for Luke, but I think it's right that Mbama gets a yellow as well, because you can't react like that, and he's got to learn that he can't. He's a fantastic player, but he shouldn't be reacting like that. Here's the header away by Brown for Derry now. Could this be the moment for Palace to get the winner? Second minute of added time at the end of a terrific encounter. Derry, his technique is so good. He's a brilliant player, lovely footwork, and he tries to release Umeh. And pressure applied here by Umeh. Well, that's good play by Elaine. And he got a bit lucky to get it back, actually, but they like to play their way out of trouble. Oh, he's lost it as the captain, Simpson Pusi. Here now, come Palace, the shot into the net! And they've done it! That is absolutely wonderful from Crystal Palace against the league leaders. Take a bow, Dylan Reid. Dylan's delight in stoppage time at the end of this one. And this is going to be a famous victory for the Junior Eagles. And he thoroughly merits that, the midfielder. He's given a tenacious, combative display. It opened up, he kept his composure, and he crashed it into the corner. Manchester City have only dropped points in 3 games this season. This is going to be the 4th, and they're going to be on the end of a defeat. It's been a scintillating comeback here by Darren Powell's team. They were 2 down at the break, but they've roared back. Cardines, Mustafa and Dylan Reid with the Dear Diary moment. Cracking stuff. It's been just a simply blistering, astonishing second half of football from Crystal Palace's youngsters. Manchester City 2, Crystal Palace 3. And that was deadly and decisive from Dylan Reid, the number 6. Said abracadabra, and out popped the white rabbit from the black hat. A real grass cutter of a shot. Now, here he goes again, Emilio Lawrence. City will think they can still get themselves a point here. with the cross coming in. No, it's over the bar. Well, they might have levelled. It's the substitute, Christian McFarlane, couldn't keep it down. Really good swirling ball into the box. Palace had some luck there, but, well, you won't begrudge them that, given the way they've applied themselves in this match. It was a menacing, curling, swerving ball in, but McFarlane wasn't able to make it 3-3. And Palace surely now will hold on for maximum points, surging into the playoffs. And, well, they did hit 3 last season with no reply. This time a very different type of game. It's been 2 very different halves of football. Referee blows his whistle. And, well, I'm not even the most fervent Palace fan. Did you see this? 3 goals with no reply in the second half. And good to see Joe Gibbon and Kurai Masani get some game time right at the end of this one. It's been a real collective effort. Well, he's had some pleasing moments. So, of course, the cherry on top of the cake was the Premier League International Cup win, but this is right up there, surely, coming behind. And when you look at City's record this season, and no team will want to play Palace in the playoffs, by the way. But that's the beauty of football. You just never know. And they've channeled that disappointment going into the break 2-0 down into something wonderfully positive in this second half. 3 different scorers as well. Uma's one of the players to go off. Still playing. Well, it's been a stop-start half in terms of needing the physios on and the substitutions, but they played some fluent football of Palace. They did have that chance. McFarlane's header over the bar from close range, and here's McFarlane on the ball. He'd love to atone for that miss. Vitor Rice now plays the diagonal ball, headed up high, needs to be cleared, and is. First contribution, first touch for Kurai Masani. And now it's with Rice. It's been a tremendous game of football, this. Oh, Jesse Derry, just what you want. Hold it up, draw the challenge. Don't get yourself injured, whatever you do, but let the seconds tick away so you can organise yourselves for one final push. One of the City players inside the Palace half. On come the physios again. They've been well occupied, so Manchester City took the lead through Jamal Simpson-Pusi, the captain. Divine Mabama made it 2 before the break, but what a response from Palace in the second half. In the first minute, Uma, who's been brilliant, picked out Rio Cardines, who thundered one in from underside of the crossbar. Indlo Mustafa might have made it 2 with a shot high, just wide of the target, but he did equalise later on. And then the third goal from Dylan Reid through the centre, firing into the corner, before Manchester City had a golden chance in stoppage time through substitute Christian McFarlane, but he headed it over the bar. That's just the goals and the main chances.
Substitution for City, replacing number 7, Matthew Henderson-Hall.
And Matthew Henderson-Hall replaced by Ashton Muir for the very end of this game. In the 8th minute of stoppage time. Away by Louis Molden, can't be long now. Forward on the volley by Mustafa Cardines is up there. Derry competes, as does Joe Gibbon. Palace have the ball inside the City half. Darren Powell wants the clock just to tick towards full time here. They're not going to hurry to take this throw in. Jake Grant has been one of the unsung heroes, been some important interventions and interceptions, blocks and tackles at the back. They pulled together, they've defended well when they've had to. As the women get a third goal, Stengel, stoppage time, they're going to beat Aston Villa in the WSL to get to within 1 point of them in the quest to stay up. Good day for Palace. Played by Watmuff. There's the final whistle. A 3-2 win. Surely the best victory of the season as well.